What will the Sim Racing Expo 2023 offer and what won't it? This and more in our news right here, right now. Greetings Rummies and welcome to Rum, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to our regular news roundup, our weekly sim racing news. Welcome to the channel. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. We've spent the last couple of weeks not only packing for the Sim Racing Expo 23, but also talking to the companies who will be there and those who won't. As always, we have much more in store than that, but first, more on the motorsport games saga, soon to be made into a 3-season drama on Netflix or something. Because motorsport games cannot stay out of the news. This time, away from everything sim-related, Dmitry Kosko has submitted his letter of resignation as CEO of Motorsport Games. Replaced by Stephen Hood earlier in the year, this was never a question of if, but when Kosko was going to leave the ailing publisher. Not a lot more to say on that, but it's definitely not positive news to see such a figurehead of a company leave. And at Rum, we are far more concerned for the ground workers at Motorsport Games and their subsidiaries, including Studio 397. So much for a captain going down with his ship.
Razer are working on the newest hotfix for AMS2, which for now they have numbered 1.0.5.7. Those of you who've been following either our news or Razer long enough know that Razer's hotfixes are often longer than some other companies' complete releases. The most important thing is that after cleaning up yet another bug within the Madness engine concerning tyres, they are adjusting all tyres of all cars. As this is immense work, they've started with soft tyres, and after this release they'll work on all the other tyre types. Also, the tracks you can see now on the screen have all had their AI lines corrected or redone completely, and there's different fixes and corrections done to some of the tracks. Details, as always, are in the description of the video. An important piece of multiplayer racing is dealing with full course yellows, and Razer have been working strongly in not only detecting illegal overtakes during yellow phases, but also having AMS2 identify the driver who really did the illegal overtake. Also, if your car is severely damaged, you will now be allowed into the pits even when the pits are closed in general. AMS2 will inform you accordingly that you're allowed to do so. Also, Razer devs have done revisions on the force feedback delivered by many cars, as well as revising ideal brake ranges in all cars. The AI got many small-ish corrections, although adjusting its behaviour when being shown blue flags may be more than just a small correction. And there's been many, again, small-ish corrections to some of the cars, especially some graphics corrections to the stock cars of 2023. I think it's fair to say this one may be appearing in our podcast rom-coms in the near future. The purchase of Codemasters by EA has finally bore its first fruit, and it stands to possibly topple the crown of Dirt Rally 2 as the rally simulator of choice. Due to be released on November 3rd with the obligatory pre-order bonus of 3 extra days to play we've come to expect from AAA launches, EA Sports WRC dares in its first public frames to cite from the creators of Dirt Rally. Okay EA, we're listening. The teaser trailer gives us relatively little in the way of meat, but further written articles have given us a glimpse into what EA has in store for us in just under 2 months' time. The Dirt Rally physics engine, now stripped from any graphics performance, and badged dynamic handling system will be paired with Unreal Engine to give a more photorealistic finish. As ever, this brings more questions than answers. Is this Unreal Engine 4, as Kunos have failed to satisfactorily implement to their physics system in their opinion, or Unreal 5, which is an unknown quantity in this setting until now, outside of the Rennsport closed beta? While the stills in the written articles looked almost photorealistic, a consistent issue between the two previously mentioned sims using UE has been poor optimization and iffy post-processing, with odd artifacts and screen elements aplenty. We will see. But with the game set to release on the mainstream consoles and PC through both Steam and Epic storefronts and the EA app, there is an expectation for WRC to be the new Dirt. or so it seems. That duality translates into the developments they've made into the DHS Model 2, boasting customization to allow both wheel and controller users to enjoy their own sense of definition with the handling of force feedback. This is nothing new, as both Dirt and Dirt Rally have been controller friendly for years now. But moving this a step further with settings within the physics to allow controllers to keep up with the big rig boys and girls, it could bring a whole new wave of young fans into this widely unnoticed formula. Let's get into the content. EA have stated that it will include 600 kilometers of stages, with all the current WRC, WRC2 and Junior WRC cars, as well as 68 heritage cars, with Colin McRae's Impreza WRC taking centre stage. Clearly, the rallying division of Codemasters has not forgotten their roots here. There's also potential for even more marks in a new builder mode, where you can take body elements and build them up onto a chassis of your choice to make a car and livery that is uniquely yours. Speculation at this point, but that could mean being able to take your own WRC, R5 or Junior WRC onto the stages against the might of Toyota, Ford and Hyundai. For us, the concept is tantalising. Online lobbies and RaceNet championships will no doubt be a given. VR will be a PC only feature for the time being, regretfully. But keep your eyes peeled for the Vroom Vroom WRC one coming as soon as we can design it. Now that we've got you all hot under the collar, especially our UK and EU friends after this week, we need to bring you down a little. The iconic voice of Phil Mills, who has given so much of his soul to making the Dirt series come alive with his excellent pace notes, will be stepping back this time around, in favour of Jonathan Jackson and Marianne Evans, both stalwarts of British rallying, but whether they will have the same presence as Mills, only time will tell. To bring you down to earth again, it looks as though the parasitic force of micro to macro transactions has infested the WRC franchise as much as its F1 counterpart. As stated, pre-orders will net you 3 days more playtime, 3 livery packs, and 5 seasons of the VIP Rally Pass. Sound familiar? And while there will be 600 kilometers of as yet unknown rally stages, here's hoping Wales is among the starting selection, the Central Europe Rally, due to be held in October this year, will be added post-launch. We don't know if this will be a DLC or a free patch. Let's see how generous EA are feeling come post-launch. And remember, never pre-order until you have evidence of the performance of the sim. Somehow we're slowly getting the impression a news video on our channel without some ETS2 or ATS news seems lacking something. This of course may have something to do with SCS's clever media policy of always having something to say about their games. In any case, it's that time of the video once again where we tell you that the next ATS DLC seems to be primed to be Nebraska. While the screenshots they published didn't show anything Nebraska-ish for us to recognise, we got the info from a little bird. Well, no, it was their social media. Moving on, the next DLC for ETS2 is for sure going to be the West Balkans, for which SCS released the preview video you're seeing right now. No release date or price has been announced as yet. Life Science from Ian Bell's Straight 4 studio. You know, the ones using Ritz's Madness Plus engine for the sim for now called GT Revival. As always, and because we're talking about Ian Bell here, take anything they say with more than a pinch of salt. Exaggerating is their modus vivendi ever since the Project Cars days. First of all, they're thinking of doing a crowdfunding drive, same as they did for Project Cars. Seems PlayOn's money isn't enough, or isn't deemed to be enough. On the other hand, I know of people who ended making a small sum of money out of the investment in Project Cars WMD, which is what Ian Bell's studio at the time called the crowdfunding. There are no more details available at the moment, so we'll have to wait if and when it comes out how the crowdfunding is going to be set up. Also, they have now acquired their first license for the sim, which at the end of the day feels more like a renewal of the license deal they had for Project Cars, as the new car is an old car, the Lister Storm GT, a Group C car that in its time in the 1980s and 1990s competed against the likes of the 7-litre V8 Saleen S7R and the 8-litre V10 Chrysler Viper GTSRs, but it had to wait until the 2000s to be able to win any race. If you didn't drive it in Project Cars, you will now have the chance to drive it on GT Revival. Oh, and GT Revival will support VR, which comes as no surprise as the Madness engine in PC already did, and the Madness Plus engine of Racer already does, so it's not really news now, is it? Assetto Corsa Evolutione has finally reached version 1.1. With it comes an overhaul to the AI difficulty and performance points calculations, hopefully bringing your AI competitors closer together and closer to you. Along with this, a new open series has been made for Class C cars, and the new daily event 2 is now an open selection, adapting the car and AI strength to your car and aligning with this revised point system to keep everyone busy. In the back end, ACE has a new manual, hosted on fandom.com, and a Japanese language option. Assetto Corsa DLCs have now been added to the car selection too, and there are seasonal effects on the map screen, so keep an eye out for them. Finally, a new race mode was added in 1.1, Touge. Wager your credits, or your car, to beat the competitors to the finish line on tight, twisting, bumpy Japanese roads, and due to legal reasons, held entirely at night. A whole new challenge, and way to acquire cars in ACE, and we can't wait.
If there is one country enormously underrepresented in sim racing, at least when it comes to official racing content, then it's clearly Japan. Leaving aside the enormous love there is for drifting and Touge racing as a niche within our sim racing niche, there's not many official Japanese tracks and cars to be found in any of our beloved sims. This, on the other hand, is a sentence I won't be able to speak so freely from now on, because effective immediately with the release of Season 4 2023 of iRacing, iRacers will be able to race the SuperFormula 23 on the sim. Furthermore, if you buy the SF23 car soon enough, you'll get a free trial of SF Go, SuperFormula's official streaming service, so you can watch the rest of the season and anything on that channel until the 6th of December. After the Race channel got bought up and started doing only F1, this may be the only place to watch SuperFormula outside of Japan. Unluckily, this only means you'll be able to drive the cars, as iRacing has not released all tracks the SF races on, and we wonder if they even got the licenses and if they even tried. Continuing with iRacing, the sim will release its Season 4 of the year on the 12th of September, bringing the Acura ARX06 GTP, Ferrari 296 GT3, NASCAR Classic Pontiac Grand Prix 1987, Porsche 963 GTP, and the aforementioned SuperFormula SF23. With regards to tracks, it brings the Circuit de l'Éden, the Kern County Raceway Park in all its configurations, as well as a rebuild of Zandvoort, also in all its configurations, to the setup of 2023. The enhanced damage model is not only active in the new cars, but has been added to 7 already existing cars. Optimizations in the code mean that you can now drive 12 different classes in one race within iRacing, which may be a bit much if you ask us, but means great work by the developers. And the spotter has learned new calls, like telling you if an incident is in front or behind you. Sound-wise, you can now choose to hear the sounds as if you are using ear protection or are listening from inside of a helmet. Interesting proposition that should enhance the immersion. Minor pit exit errors by the drivers are now penalized with drive-thrus instead of stop and goes, as also happens with minor jump starts and pass inside infractions. And bravo to whoever wrote this sentence. For ghost cars, fixed an issue where their ghost tires could take ghost damage, which could make them extra ghostly and appear to fall through the earth a short ways before resetting above the ground. Spooky. Funny and no marketing bullshit. We bow to your writing acumen, sir or madam. Also, 1.5 tons of smaller graphic corrections and enhancements has been done all over the sim. And as it's always with us, you'll be able to read the full details of the release notes following the link in the description. Aw, don't tell me you missed the first race. Luckily, you can always watch the video following the link up there. The start of the second AMS2CC season kept its promises. While Drewface took his pole position and run with it till the end, there were battles everywhere, which as always were hard but fair. AMS2's realism hit some of the drivers hard with blown motors or undrivable cars after collisions. David Sobreiro, who started in 4th position, ended 2nd, while Rocco Thamanoides, who had qualified 2nd, lost 1 place and ended 3rd. Interestingly, Grant Pabir, who started 7th and ended 8th, was involved in many of the most interesting battles, either being chased by other drivers or chasing them. But there were more battles everywhere than we could catch with the live cameras. Such is the quality of the drivers of this Community Cup. This means that Curb Clippers are at the moment at the top of the community standings, RPM are 2nd, closely followed by AMSU, only 3 points lower. But this being a community series and every community having 3 drivers delivering points or not, the standings can change fast. We are looking forward to the next race on Wednesday, the 20th of September, where the drivers will battle Copa Classic B cars at Velocita. Don't miss it! Patrons help us bring better product reviews and sim racing news. Become our hero by becoming a patron at patreon.com/rumrum. Amongst other perks, becoming a patron will fix your name for posterity like this, but you'll also be able to participate in our podcast recording, get to know what we plan and what we're doing, and we'll be able to take part in our decisions. A big thank you to our patrons and members. If you come here often, please consider subscribing. It's a bit over a month until the Sim Racing Expo 2023 opens its doors, and while we will be present in full force, a lot of the companies who've been at the SRE over and over again won't. We asked those who will not be there about the reasons and got different answers or no answer at all. One company who won't make it this year is GSI. The US rim maker will be preparing for the holiday business and cannot spare any energy and, we suppose, people for the expo. Glad to see business is being good to them, sad to not be able to meet them again. Huizingveld, on the other hand, just plainly said no and no comment when asked. We'll have to respect that, even if we have some ideas why they are not going to be there. SimuCube though was available for questions. It all boils down to them having tested the waters last year and this year keeping a low profile due to doing their marketing differently. They're maybe going to be there next year, but they are not sure. Also, this year they've pivoted more towards the US market and just did not have the resources to do the SRE. Fanatec did not answer to any of our questions. We don't know if this behavior is due to arrogance or unprofessionalism, but it's funny that they have an extra mail address for journalists that seemingly no one reads. As far as we can see, they are not going to be at the SRE either. Same thing with Cube Controls, as they are concentrating their marketing on motorsport events. This is all very strange. Either the Sim Racing Expo, now in Dortmund, has raised the prices to a level that only a few want to afford, or the companies are changing their marketing strategies almost all at the same time, based on some feeling they all have or based on data we are not privy to. But these are too many companies that had been present on other SREs until now, dropping this event for it to just be mere coincidence. We reached out to the organizers of this year's SRE but did not get any answer as to why they think this has happened. One company that is repeating visit is Assetto. The Danish company will once again present their extensive row of products in Dortmund. They teased to us they will have something new at the expo, but we're not willing to say more, which we understand. We'll have to check it out in person. Still, they are mean teasers. And we say that because we promised them we would. And against the trend by the other companies, KW will be present big time. While their race room presence will be smaller than in the last years, Asha as well as Track Time will be even more present than in the last years. Asha is finalizing their McLaren rims and have told us they will come out soon after the expo. They even mentioned a month, but we are only allowed to tell you it's going to be a month ending in R. Track Time, on the other hand, will bring 4 new products. One of them will be a version of their 3-motion rig, which has been expanded to support also flight simulations, and which we all will be able to test as flight simulation rig at the expo. Another one will be their 3-motion simulator in a From Sim to DTM edition. The specs of this rig will be the exact specs Tim Heinemann uses to prepare for the DTM races. The DTM trophy winner of 2022 and DTM driver in 2023 will also be present in person on Saturday, signing autographs and letting us take a peek at his DTM 911 GT3R, among other activities like a quiz or giving a tour of the always interesting Hockenheimring. KW also teased they may even bring more stuff to the SRE depending on how fast their engineers have other products ready. But we think that even if they don't, we'll spend an awful lot of time at their booth. New to the expo will be Race at Home, a British company that has a very interesting proposition not only for motion rigs but especially for lateral motion, as they shove the front and rear parts of the rig sideways, much like a car does when oversteering or understeering. We'll be very interested in how it feels when sitting at the rig. Also working in the realm of motion rigs is PT Actuator. The Chinese company is working on delivering strong actuators with small system, delivering more power to the punch, if you will. Not a motion rig, but also a simulator of the constant feel of G-forces is what Grid Racing are going to bring to the Sim Racing Expo. The young company has a prototype ready to show and test and will start crowdfunding at the start of the expo to be able to afford further development. The seat aims to simulate the G-forces exerted on a body whilst racing through electro-pneumatic cushions and a 5-point seat belt. We have seen seat belt systems already, but not simulating lateral forces, and the seat with the cushions reminds us a little bit of the HF8 Haptic gaming pad by Next Level Racing, only this year is planned to be all in the sides of the seat. We'll be able to tell you more after the expo. If you are more on the lookout for rims apart from the Asha rims we just talked about, you will be able to check out the P9XX RSR and a new display by SimRep Engineering. The display will be introduced to the market at the beginning of the expo. As we said, we'll be at full presence there, talking to the companies and getting as much information as we can. We also have a special Romcoms podcast or even 2 planned, as well as at least a news extra. Depending on your interest and your questions, we may even dig deeper in special videos. Do let us know what you'd be most interested in the comments